Good morning, everybody. Peter Ciccone, Entrepreneurs Across America. I'm here with Jacob Hoffman of Instant Office, and we've already done an Entrepreneurs Across America, but he'd asked me a question, and he said, why don't you let somebody interview you? And the person he suggested was the co-founder of EAA, David Gusson, and David and I, we're a known commodity. We're a dynamic duo. Yeah, I like that. People know us. So I said, Jacob, you're on the brain trust here. Why don't you do it? And so with no further ado, I'm going to allow Jacob Hoffman to interview me about diner discussions and entrepreneurs across America. So you're on, sir.
So in reviewing and looking at your work, Entrepreneurs Across America, I thought it was really, really fascinating that you put together a very unique group. So I'm sitting one day and I see you have 162 members. I go, why isn't anybody ever talking to you? You put this together. It's brilliant. I want to understand what your thinking is. What are your thoughts? Two things, 2 points. One, why Entrepreneurs Across America? And number two, Peter, what is your vision of these diner discussions? What are your thoughts?
First things first, let's take diner discussions first and where I see it. I think this is a good opportunity. I love talking to people with who are in different businesses, who do different things, and I'm always fascinated how you make money, how you don't make money. And one thing I've learned in sales my whole life is to make money, I need to understand the other person's business. That's the best way I've learned how to make a sale. If you understand their business, you can have a conversation with them in a way that it relates to their bottom line. And if you're trying to sell a product, a service, any goods, they need to know perfectly how it benefits them. And so I'm always very interested in how your business works. Like when you and I had a chat, 35 years in business, that excites me. How do you do that? Because I understand 35 years doing anything's a long time. But entrepreneurs across America in general, I want to unite business people. I want everybody, and whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for somebody else, a larger company, you're selling to people who own their own companies. I think it was Calvin Coolidge who said the business of America is business, and that's a part of our culture, and I love that. I've always loved that. I grew up in a house. My dad had his own firm, so and the older I've gotten, I started out at the big companies, and then I've migrated to the smaller companies over the years, and now in my 50s, I look for the smaller opportunities because for me, my personality, I always did better in that situation. And I want people to succeed. I love when I'm talking to somebody, I have this great idea, but I'm afraid. Hey, take a shot. It's better to, Shakespeare, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never have loved at all.
Very good.
Same thing. It's better to, fail and have tried than to never try.
Peter, listening to you now, I understand exactly where your head's at with this. Two things. One, business is fun, and you have that, and that's why you're strong in this company here, what you have put together. The other thing is the emotional factor. Not enough people talk about the emotional factor of the business, and that's what you're all about, and that's why, very quickly, you do have 162 members of Entrepreneurs Across America. I see that clearly.
I was in a job interview a few years back, and I had been with one company for over a decade, and I'd lost my passion.
Passion.
And speaking to the owner of the new company who was interviewing me, he asked me a question about why I wanted to leave after so many years, and it came up with passion, and I made a joke out of it. I said, hey, I'm Italian, I need passion to make it happen, and I have no passion there anymore. And I was speaking to a guy who was all passion his whole life, and that was a great relationship. That was one of the best business decisions I made in my life, and I made it at an age where, at that point in time, I was a father, 2 children, happily married, still happily married, but married, wife, kids, and I was taking a big chance, but it was probably making that move from the one company to the other was the best business decision of my life. And that owner of that company taught me more in the 6 years I worked for him than I ever learned in in my MBA program than I learned in college, just because I saw the way he thought. You know, I always joked with this guy, you and I might see a pile of horse manure. He saw tomato fertilizer, and he'd bag it and sell it as tomato fertilizer, and he'd probably give you the first bag for free, so put it on your tomato plants, and I love that, and I've always, and I've never looked back.
Well, that whole mentality is exactly what you have put into the main ingredient in entrepreneurs across America. You just said it perfectly, and I love that. Everybody knows in business there's a academic factor, but again, you factored in the emotional factor, and that's what's making this organization great. You just said it.
Thank you for your kind words, and I don't want it to stop there. I want, as business people, as independent-minded individuals, we need to get more involved in everything. And I, you know, when I say politics, our government needs to respond to us. Whatever side of the aisle you're on, left, right, you know, up, down, that's irrelevant. But in the United States, it's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And one of the things we want to bring to the fore are politicians, and we're having a meeting this Friday at the Dix Hills Diner with Rob Cornicelli, who's running for Congress. Let's ask him a million questions, and if he gets elected and he doesn't deliver on the things he said he was going to do, well, then in 2 years we get to vote him out. And that's just a part of life, and that's the same part of life we all face in business every day. You don't do something you said you're going to do, you lose a customer. You don't do something you say you're going to do, you get fired from your job. Let's start holding our public officials accountable for the things they say and the things they do and don't do. And let's start holding them to the same standards that we're held to.
You know, again, I have to say, you just said it again, articulated it perfectly. We're in a people business. And that's what this whole thing is all about, and that's what I'm feeling from you.
Oh,
This is
thank
good
you.
that we had this conversation.
I
learned more from you in the last 5 minutes than I did in the last 5 years knowing you.
5 minutes before that.
5 minutes before that. You're good, Peter. And now I understand entrepreneurs across America. It's going to be
thank
good
you.
forever, and there should be 1,062 members by the end of this year.
Hopefully we'll keep going. Visit us online, you know, EAAUSA.org, EAAUSA.org. Find out about the 8 pillars of business as we see it. If you're getting this video, go to our Facebook page, and thank you for paying attention. I enjoyed the conversation.
So do I. Thank you, Peter.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Take care, everybody.
Okay.